Well, hello, welcome to another episode of Cubs on Tap. I'm Joey Ricotta at Joey Knows Nothing. I am absolutely exhausted, so please forgive me if you can see the bags under my eyes. It's not just about being regularly tired, but I am just exhausted with the way that this Cubs team is making me feel over the last, I don't know, few weeks, anyways. But ride solo tonight. So appreciate any of you that are jumping in here to the comments, going to join me for a little vent session after this Cardinals series loss and Sunday Night Baseball loss to them 3-2. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Daniel Berry already here in the comments. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. Scott, I don't care what anyone says. MLB screwed the Cubs is what he says. And hard to disagree with you there, especially that John Birdie getting thrown out there at second base, which we'll get into it. But yeah, it was a tough night. Just definitely did not like the way that everything kind of shook out there. So apologies if you can see the stuff in the background. We've been cleaning out the office, just did a bunch of work in there. So I moved out a lot of stuff. Me and my wife have been just rearranging things, and a lot of that's got to get put back and reorganized, but you're kind of stuck with where I'm at right now. So sitting here on the couch. But that said, just want to get all the obligations out of the way. We are Cubs on Tap, brought to you by the On Tap Sports Network. You can check out all the content over there at On Tap Sportsnet. Go to ontapsportsnet.com and get all your Chicago sports content and other podcasts and articles. Obviously, check out the rest of the gang with their X accounts. I'm not going to shout them all out, but they are in the banner there down below too if you're watching live on YouTube or Facebook or X. So yeah, with that said, rough one. This was not fun watching this game. It's 2-0. You got Shota Imanaga on the mound, and yeah, he actually pitched. He pitched really well, and I just thought, I guess before I get to that, like after yesterday's game, Friday was a stinker as well, but yesterday's game the bats really busted out. Michael Bush, Matt Shaw. I mean, the bats were cooking on Saturday, and then you get to Sunday, and you're like, okay, get a series W against those dirty, disgusting Redbirds. It's FTC till we die. Fuck the Cardinals. And then it's Sunday Night Baseball, and that's part of why I'm so exhausted. I feel like I probably should have just went and turned Pat and Ron on, but I didn't want to have 500 apps up, between trying to do the X account and watching the game, and then, doing the tweets and doing everything else, trying to do my fantasy baseball waiver wires. I sound like I'm complaining. It's because I did not switch over and I was listening and watching ESPN baseball all night. And if you did the same thing, then it's just how annoying that was. And Hank says super frustrating loss on so many levels. And yeah, that adds into it, I think. It's just the way that you digest a game sometimes is, yeah. I mean, I live and die by this team, man. Like I do. I'm a diehard Cubs fan. Like anyone that knows me, it's not just about covering the Cubs. It's not just getting on here on this microphone and talking Cubs baseball. Like, oh, it's cool to do. Oh, you're talking Cubs. No, it's that's what I know. Like that's, if I wasn't doing it here, I'd be doing it in my day-to-day life, which I already do anyways, all the time. So like when they struggle like this, or when they give up, I'm looking back at it now. The Cubs were 6.5 games up on June 17th. And they're now 6 games back after August, at the end of August 10th, which we're getting close to the end of August 10th. Dude, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Between the rain delay and everything else too. And it was like National Yadi Molina Day to those that do not celebrate. Me, the rest of the Cubs fans do not celebrate. And it's like, then on top of it, you got the little ump show going on this weekend in St. Louis. Like, it was disgusting on so many levels. To lose 2 or 3 and to lose tonight, disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. 3-2 game. The bats got to get going, man. We need consistency. It's just, man. Scott says here 5 hits out of the 7, 8, 9 hitters. Come on, wake the F up. Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be coming from that part of the lineup, the 7, 8, 9 hitters. That's right. It's the top of the order, the middle of the order, not doing shit again. There's no consistency right now. Everyone is cold at the same time. And Chris is pointing out PCA hitting 080 in his last 7, not ideal. I agree, but it's not just him. Michael Busch woke up yesterday, and then where was he tonight? Like, it's just too hot and cold right now. All these guys are, and pretty much everyone is cold right now. The main guys that you need to be hot are cold. And when you give up 3 runs, it feels like it's insurmountable. Like 3-4 runs are insurmountable right now, or they're going to crush you, and it's a 9-2 win or whatever the score was on Saturday. I'm not even looking back at the box scores. I'm sick of it at this point. Like, you lost 2 straight series now after this one because you lost to the Reds, and then you lost to the 2 teams that are trailing you in your division. And on the other side of town, or on the other side of things, you got Milwaukee, who just cannot lose right now. They've got the voodoo magic that the Cardinals had for so many years. That's what it feels like. Anything that can go right, and anything and everything is going to go right for them right now. I mean, the Mets are really struggling, so no surprise that, they caught the Brewers caught the Mets at the perfect time, I should say. Like, the Mets are 1-11 or 1-12 or something in this recent stretch. The Dodgers are struggling. The Yankees are struggling. The Cubs aren't the only team that's struggling, but it sucks. It sucks that this is the way that it's gone for so long. Like, at some point, you keep saying at some point, the Brewers are going to slow down. At some point, they're going to cool off. When? Like, any day now, please, any day now, for my sanity, for all of us Cubs fans, for our sanity. The stuff that happened the other day. I was talking to my buddy Mitch, on my baseball team. Like, he was like, pitch clock violation, should have been a fly out, and then it turns into a home run in the same at bat. Like, that's this type of stuff that's going on. Then they come from behind, then they tie the game, then they get the walk-off today. Like, that's the stuff that's going on right now with the Brewers. Brewers will cool off when the playoffs start. That's cool. I just hope that the Cubs are still in that conversation, and maybe that's just taking the wild card at this point. I don't know, but 6 games back, it's really frustrating. I'm gonna pause there though for a minute with just me like complaining about the way things are going. Just talk about this game because Shota really was dealing for the most part. Aside from the home run during the 2-run homer by Pedro Pajes during the PCA mic'd up part of the game, which I thought was cool that happened while he's mic'd up, even though it was the Cardinals and it was terrible. But I was like, holy shit, if he robs a homer while he's mic'd up, like if that ball wasn't hit as well as it was, I think PCA is robbing that. And then we have like possibly the greatest moment in the history of Sunday Night Baseball. Like, and that's including the David Bodie walk-off home run. Okay, maybe it wouldn't have been that good, but still would have been awesome to see that. But that didn't happen. It was a 2-run homer. Outside of that, though, like Shota was absolutely dealing tonight. 9 Ks, 6 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. All of them were earned. No walks. He did give up the run. It was a single, a stolen base, and a single, I believe, that allowed that run there towards the end of his night in the 7th inning. But that could have happened in the 4th inning. I don't think he was like ran out of gas tired at that point. I really don't. Singles are singles, and it's just the nature of the beast. So, the 3rd run, you got to hit the ball. You just have to hit the ball. Cubs didn't do a good enough job of getting guys in scoring position, didn't do a good enough job of capitalizing once they got him in scoring position. I mean, Carson Kelly, really, I mean, you took a fastball, 3-1 count, right down the middle. What are you looking at, buddy? Not just him, because, I mean, but what are you doing? Like, what's the approach? It's a fastball, right down the middle. It's a cock shot. You should be ready to jump on that. That should be the pitch that you're going for. Yeah, it's just too much of that. And I mean, too much of that. I mean, Shota, though, getting back to him, he hasn't walked anyone since July 19th. He's starting to be in a really good stretch here. He's pitching really well. I think, again, we got a guy that's going to start going deep consistently again. And that's awesome to see from Shota. So once the bats, on a positive note, the bats, once they start hitting, once everyone starts heating up, you do have somebody there that's starting to pitch like a 1 or a 2 again, like Shota. And we know that he can. The big thing for me, though, and I think all of Cubs, the fan base, is like, it's Matt Shaw. Shaw State Redemption Tour. I'm not going to say shank because he's not, I don't know if he's shanking, but it's in full effect right now. I mean, he's got another homer. He hit the 2-run shot to tie the game tonight, and it was his 4th homer in 5 games. He has just over 1,000 OPS since the All-Star break. He's just crushing it. He had a chance there late in the game in the 9th to come through at the end, but he grounded out to second base, and, with 2 outs in the 9th. I'm not going to fault him for that. He's been like one of the only guys hitting lately, and plus he's still a rookie, and that's a tough pressure spot with the game on the line. So I actually think that could be just a really good growth moment for him to get that experience and to not come through there. You got to have some failures. I mean, we've seen Shaw with how much he failed early on in this season. He's went through a lot of failures this year, and then now he's stringing it together and everything's starting to click. I think that could be just one example there of like, hey, well, you failed in that moment, but maybe come September or whenever that situation presents itself again, if it does, you're going to know how to handle that moment and you're going to come through in the clutch. So I don't hate that happened there. I hate that the Cubs lost, don't get me wrong, but not going to blame Matt Shaw on that one. Other than that, I mean, I knew this was going to be a quick one because I really don't want to. Like, this is one of the ones I don't really care to do. Like, losing games. I don't know. It's the wild part to me is like the Cubs they're second in the majors in run differential, right behind the Brewers. 132, the second in the majors. 132 are the Brewers in run differential. The Cubs are 117. The next closest team are the Phillies with 90 for a run differential. I mean, that's like how do you explain this stuff? Like the games they lose, they're losing a lot of these close games lately, and that wasn't the case earlier in the year. Earlier in the year, they were doing really well with the 1-run games. I think it was definitely something I brought up here on the show, talking with the guys. And I said, wow, that's a big improvement over last year. Maybe it's that extra experience. They're getting to be a little bit more of a veteran team with some youngsters still, of course. But lately that just hasn't really swung their way. A lap cracking me up in the comment. It's not funny. Like, don't get me wrong. What you're saying is not funny. Because I think like a lot of people can relate to this. It says Jed's a loser, Ricketts is a cheapskate. They keep melting down in the second half. Look, I get it. That's how it feels right now. The thing is as frustrating as this is, they're still first in the wild card. Out of the 3 wild card teams, they're 6 games up on the Reds, who are the next closest wild card team just out of the 3 race picture, I believe. Let me double check that. If I was looking at that earlier, yeah, Cincinnati's a game and a half out of the last wild card spot. The Cubs are 6 games up on them. So and I know they own the tiebreaker and all that, but like the Cubs are still not in a terrible position when you look at the playoffs. Now, losing the division, yeah, that sucks because now you're leaving things more up to chance being, a wild card team. But you're just not in the greatest position as a wild card team. But, yeah, like what Scott's saying, stop it. Any other division, they're within a game of first place. You're right. You're right. You're 100% right, and that's why I'm not gonna overly freak out. It just feels like, when is this voodoo magic gonna run out for the Brewers, and can it be anytime soon? Because now, I guess that takes us right into what's on tap. You got Toronto. You got an off day tomorrow. You take a trip to Toronto. Then you come back home. You got Pittsburgh, and then you got the Brewers. So I mean, you got to get some sort of momentum and consistency going, especially through the 1 through 6 in the order. The 1 through 6 spots in the order need to start hitting now, consistently. It has to start clicking, because I don't really care. I understand the whole Jed discussion and why, the starting pitcher thing is going to drive all of us nuts for a long time. Guys need to start hitting. That's what it is. There wasn't going to be a whole lot of increase to this at the trade deadline. I mean, if you really, okay, Eugenio Suarez, sure. And we could talk all day about how that not making a move impacts the club, at least from a confidence and belief standpoint, right? And momentum, energy standpoint, because it signifies, just like Anthony Rizzo was saying on the Johnny Manziel podcast, talking with him about, well, you had a chance to go out and get guys and you didn't go get them. Do you not believe in us? Like that sort of thing. Like that kind. There's a real factor there a psyche that can go into things. When in the front office, it seems like they don't believe in you, or they just didn't do enough to kind of help you out when it's right there for the taking. The part of me, I can buy into that 100%. But the thing is, pitching is not what the problem really has been for the starting pitching lately. Lately, they haven't been scoring runs. The guys that have been so good all year, especially the first half of the year leading up to this point, this most recent stretch, one of them was named PCA. Kyle Tucker, where's the home runs? Seiya's cooled way off. Bush has cooled way off outside of yesterday's game. Hap, where have you been for the most part this year? These are guys that are supposed to be doing it. Those are the guys that you're supposed to be able to count. It's not Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw, it's weird. Matt Shaw gets hot and everyone gets cold. Matt Shaw is cold and everyone else is hot. How does that work? It should be. I don't understand it. So hopefully when everyone else gets hot, Matt Shaw doesn't get cold. That just seems to be like what's happening right now. But anyways, I think they got to build something. They got to start something good here in Toronto. Take care of business against the Pirates leading into that Milwaukee series, because you cannot be. They got to do better than 500 in these next 6 games. I believe they got to do better than 500 before you get into that Brewers series, because if you even want to make it, it's what, a 5-game series now with the rain out. That's a huge series, and no matter what, if they do take care of business against the Brewers, sure, maybe they're not in a position where they tie the Brewers or they take the lead of the division just based off of what's happened recently. But I think if they can take care of business enough against them, let's say they 4 or 5, sounds unheard of right now, the way this team's playing and they are playing. Or even it's 3-2. I think 4 of 5, really, you got to put a dent in them. But that's going to make it manageable, because there's still a lot of season left. I mean, we're not even really into mid-August completely yet. So there's still a lot of games left to be played. But, and, right here. So Skeens pitching against the Brewers, not the Cubs. That's great. Love that. Want to avoid Skeens at all costs. Yeah, home run production's dropped. That's for sure. And often that's just kind of the way it goes. They have been struggling, though, to come up with that clutch hit. Let's see. Scott says Shaw has been on fire. Which of the other starting position players do these upset fans want traded? Pitching isn't the issue. Well, yeah, lately it hasn't been the issue, but I agree. I don't know. Looks like that's what is reported, if all goes well, that Miguel Amaya will be back at some point in the Toronto series. So I don't know if that's Tuesday. I don't know if that's Wednesday, but it'll be good to see him back. Everyone knows I'm a big Miguel Amaya supporter and fan, at least coming into the season as well. And that was looking like I was right about him breaking out this year. But, and he was one of the best Cubs hitters with runners in scoring position. I mean, he was clutch. He was really clutch this year. And maybe that even helps Kelly a little bit too, because I think with the two-headed monster, Reese McGuire kind of cool, came back down to earth. Those two giving each other the rest that they need and kind of feeding off each other. I think a little bit more competition too is good for Carson Kelly. I think that's really good for him. Hank says call up Mo Baller and Owen Casey can't hurt. I mean, that's the type of jolt. That's the type of jolt that I think they need. So it says I just got an update saying that we're having trouble streaming to X. It's maybe an X issue. Well, whatever. Can't work on that now. So if we're having an issue, we're having an issue. Go ahead and jump on YouTube or jump on Facebook or wherever else if you want to jump in here live. But Mo Baller came up and had that clutch double. I mean, he had that big knock. I don't see how that hurts. Those are the guys that are ready to play too, and the Jaguar too. I agree with that because Kevin Alcantara, he can hit lefties. He's got speed. He can play really good outfield defense. I do think that that's going to be a perfect, that's a September call up waiting to happen is the Jaguar, Kevin Alcantara. Jay says the Cubs need to stay in the first wild card spot to start the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, I would say that's the best spot of the wild cards for sure. But if there's a chance to take the division, you definitely still don't want to give that up at this point in time. I mean, all the overreacting aside, I mean, it's not an overreaction right now what the Brewers are doing. The Brewers are playing out of their mind. The Cubs are not quite playing up to their level of baseball right now. It's just the way things are. So, but I don't want to put that out as like, hey, they can't win the division. They still can. I mean, 6 games back at this point in the season, I think you're within striking distance, especially when you have head-to-head matchups still at play. And we know that eventually they are going to cool off, just the nature of the beast. But that voodoo magic it seems like a real thing right now. In Toronto, though, what's on tap? We have Tuesday, like I said, off day tomorrow. Tuesday, we have a 6:07 start time, Central Time. Ben Brown going up against Jose Barrios. And Ben Brown's been a lot better lately, so hopefully he can keep that going. Again, then Wednesday, you got Cade Horton versus Kevin Gossman. Cade Horton has been unreal lately. 21 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings, longest streak by a Cubs rookie since 1920. So that's an insane run that he's been on. And hopefully, I know they're trying to preserve his arm. Maybe he's that kind of real, deadline addition because I don't think, Cade Horton, I know Cade Horton was in the rotation before the deadline and all that, but he was just starting to pitch better. He wasn't really getting into this level now. Now he's starting to really turn it up a notch, and it's consistent. And if they can preserve his arm and the bullets enough, and he can get into the playoffs, that could be a legit dude in Cade Horton. But the problem is obviously he hasn't pitched this many innings before, and he had the injury last year. So just hoping that they can keep him healthy. But I'm kind of wondering when they're going to just unleash him and just let him go as far as, innings. Are you going to 6-7 innings. Like, when are you just going to be like, okay, I know he's at 75 pitches or 80 pitches, but let's crank it up a notch. Let's see if he can get to 95, 100 pitches, like 7th inning, because there's been games where it looks like he can go a little bit further than that, obviously. That's why the consecutive scoreless innings is a little bit skewed, because it's not like he's going 6-7 innings every time out during that stretch. But I'm kind of wondering when they're going to just unleash that. Thursday, it's a 2:07 game, getaway game with Matthew Boyd versus Max Scherzer, and I'm sure Boyd would like to pitch a little bit better than he has recently, but we know he's been an absolute stud this year overall. So pitching against Max Scherzer, who I guess can kind of consider him like an ageless wonder at this point, but not quite the Max Scherzer that we're used to seeing over the years. So that should be a winnable game, knock on wood. And I think, all these games are winnable, even though they're going to Toronto. It's going to be a tough series. It's going to be a very tough series. I like, if I had to bet, I'd probably bet that the Cubs do lose 2 of 3 in this upcoming series. 2. I hope that's not the case, but I don't want to get my hopes up too much with this series going to Toronto. I was supposed to actually travel to Toronto to watch one of the games, because I'd never been there before. But that just didn't quite work out this year. That was a plan going into the year that me and my wife had. But, it is going to be tough the way that they're playing right now to go in there and take 2 of 3. If they can take 2 of 3, I think it's a win. And then you move on to Pittsburgh, hopefully get a sweep there, and then going hot against Milwaukee. That's about all I got, though, man. That's really about all I got. I didn't want to take too much time here because, like I said, I'm exhausted. And, the Bears couldn't even get a win. I know preseason doesn't matter, but Bears couldn't even pull out a W. It was a tie. So it's like, okay, it's just so dumb. Like, today was just so dumb on many levels. But yeah, with that said, thank you guys, everyone, for jumping in the comment section. Appreciate you guys. And go ahead and check out in podcast form the Cubs on Tap podcast. Check out the Dingers as well. They should be I don't know if they're going live tomorrow. I know they usually go live on Mondays. Dingers Cubs. So, catch Mitch and in the gang over there on the YouTube channel, On Tap Sportsnet. Go subscribe over there. And, as always, check out Cubs on Tap on X at Cubbies on Tap. And go to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports needs. So with that said, man, my final thoughts is just somebody get hot, and really just consistently hot. Like someone else. It needs to be more than Matt Shaw. It needs to be more than your 7, 8, 9 hitters, as Scott pointed out. You got to get something strung together there at the top of the order. Start hitting the ball over the fence, extra base hits, just some consistency. We need to see some better at bats and have a plan, man. When it's a 3-1 count, be ready to rip the ball, especially when it's right down the middle. So that's all I got. As always, especially, the Yadi Molina suck fest. FTC, fuck the Cardinals, and let's go Cubbies.